couple of months ago, me and my friend participated in the Unreal Engine 4 Spring Game Jam, and we had a good time. What we came up with is this game you're seeing right now, where you are this 2D character adventuring around this 3D world. It's a platformer, there's combat, but the combat wasn't great. But we ended up liking the idea a lot, and we wanted to develop it further. So what we had in mind is, obviously we're going to change up things from what they are now. What we have in mind is to make this game some kind of a happening during a siege, where you have this big castle and you have many hordes of enemies that are trying to climb up the castle and basically rule the castle. So your whole mission would be to defend the castle and fend them off from the enemies. So I wanted to start concepting around with this idea. So I basically ended up making a Pinterest board and collecting artworks from great artists that I like. And I wanted to make a collage. I wanted to cut these pieces and put them together and see what I could come up with. I wanted to do this castle, and I imagined it to be like a really tall castle. There's a bunch of villages in between. So obviously these are not what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting up already existing artwork and trying to make a composition out of it. But obviously something like this I wouldn't end up using in a final project, because it would be I'm just using this as a point of reference. So the whole idea of the game would be, you have this huge castle where you start at the top and then you slowly go to the bottom, and throughout this entire time that you're going from the top to the bottom, there will be hordes of enemies and you have to fight them. We don't know exactly what the story is going to be, but we want to go with a basic game with a basic premise that we can finish and release commercially in the matter of a couple of months, maybe at the end of the summer. But we wanted to go simple. We didn't want to go too crazy. This is not our first game, but this is our second game, and the first one was very different. It was a 2D visual novel. So this one we're dealing with 3D. It's going to be much more challenging, but we wanted to obviously experiment with it, and we didn't want to go on this crazy passion projects that would take you months to finish. We want to do something that is feasible and that can be finished in 3 to 4 to 5 months maximum, and released on places like itch. So I put the reference on the other screen that I have. I have 2 screens, and if you're an artist, I highly recommend you get 2 screens. It'll make your life much easier. So I put the reference on the other screen, and I started using already existing assets in Unreal Engine to do basically level blocking. There are multiple terms for this, there are multiple names for this term, such as white blocking, level blocking. So I basically started experimenting with the assets that I already have. So here I'm gonna make the base of the castle, and there's this main tower, and I had in mind to make it look like something like from Disneyland, and maybe the Disneyland logo itself, to give it that vibe. And the whole idea we had with this castle is that the people in it are basically animals. I don't know what's the term. I think it's called anthropomorphic animals. So these are animals that speak, that function a lot like human beings. And the invading force, we have no idea what we're gonna make them, but we were thinking something along the lines of reptilians, snakes, or crocodiles, or something like that. But it's still a work in progress, obviously. First, I just want to get a feel of what the castle would look like before I go and fully model it myself. So I'm using already made assets to form at least the base, so I know what it could look like later on. Now the game, obviously we want to go stylized with the game. We want to make it goofy. Beside the whole like animals as humans thing, we want to make it feel a bit medieval, but yet they do have, let's say, machinery that could be considered futuristic or modern day equipment and technology in this medieval style world. So I was thinking of making it, there are like 3 faces to the castle. At the top you have the main tower where, I don't know, the mayor or maybe the princess lives, and this is the top place where you have the important towns and the important houses, or the rich houses you can say, all settled there. And then I will make another layer with the extended parts of the city, right? And then another layer where I would make it either something like a carnival house, or like a port for ships, like flying ships would dock down there and you know, like, and fill up fuel or whatever. So that was the basic premise of the castle. I want to make it feel as believable as possible and to give life to it. That's very important, and what I'm trying to achieve here is just have a basic understanding of how the districts would be set up and how things might look like, just a silhouette of the whole castle on its own, before I go in and make smaller villages and levels inside it. So we are thinking of this as a semi-open world. When I say open world, what I mean is like to make it, the game not have loading screens. I mean, what you see is what you get. It's like the whole castle, and that's mainly the game. We don't want to make this too long of a game. We don't know exactly how many hours we want to make it playable, but we want to have enough districts within the castle for it to be playable. So I would assume there would be something like 6 different districts, and obviously this is, all of it is a work in progress. And the reason why I'm doing this right now and why I'm going in vaguely is because I want to make a game that is purely community driven. I want to gather everybody's ideas when I'm doing this, when I'm showing you guys when I'm doing it. I want your opinion, I want your input, because obviously making games is hard, and the more we have ideas that we can bounce off ideas, we can get somewhere better and much faster. And obviously, especially when you're making games, sometimes you don't know exactly what you want. Sometimes it's a lot of work, and a lot of times you don't know what the player might want. So it's really nice to use YouTube, the channel we have here, as a platform to give and take, so people can give their opinion about what we're making and how we can improve it. So definitely, if you see ways or ideas of what this game could turn out to be, you already saw the basic premise, the basic mechanics, the fighting, the jumping, and the stylized world with the castle and the siege. That's the basics we have. Everything else from here can be developed all together. So what I'm aiming to do with this is eventually have like the top comments, the suggestions as top comments, be somehow implemented in the game. Obviously this is not something I can promise every single time, but definitely if there's good suggestions, I'm more than willing to put in the game and make this project as community driven as possible. So thank you guys for watching this video. This is the 3rd devlog I've ever done. So the first 2 I did it, and I didn't know if we were going to continue with this project, but it seems that me and my friend were very convinced by this game. So we're just going to go ahead with it, and the rest of the video is just going to be me working. So enjoy.